It is very easy to get caught up with just playing AAA titles and the now very common live service games that have been flooding the marketplace. However, there are so many other games out there that don't get the recognition they deserve, no matter how enjoyable they are. Today, I wanted to take the time to put you onto some hidden gems that immerse you into compelling storylines and amazing gameplay, and most of these games aren't subject to platform exclusivity, which make them all the more enjoyable. Welcome to All Around Gaming. When you think of first-person shooters, it's easy to imagine a game like Call of Duty or Battlefield. But there is one hidden gem that holds a special place in my heart when it comes to this genre, and it's called Neckbreak. Don't let the not-so-creative title fool you, as this game delivers an adrenaline-fueled gameplay experience along with a retro pixelated graphic style. You play as a pill-popping adrenaline junkie who seems to be fed up with the crime and corruption in his city. As a result, you will fast travel to different areas to brutally execute gangs and corrupt officials. Neckbreak offers a variety of ways to approach combat, as you can either pop the questionable pharmaceutical drug of your choice to gain super strength and take apart your enemies with hand-to-hand combat, or you can take on the more traditional but just as brutal approach using firearms dropped by your enemies. Neckbreak is definitely one of those titles that knows how to push the envelope to differentiate itself from the typical FPS. Comment below if you play this hidden gem. To be able to relive the good old days of survival horror would be an amazing experience. Thankfully, we have a game that captures this style just the way we remember it. The game I'm referring to is Alyssa. The game places you in the shoes of Alyssa, an officer who finds herself in an unknown mansion while pursuing a suspect. This mansion, however, is filled with disturbing doll-like creatures and traps that can easily kill you if not careful. With classic gameplay features such as fixed camera angles, limited resources, and challenging puzzles, Alyssa gives off a vibe that is very reminiscent to the very first Resident Evil game. In many ways, the old graphic style adds to the horror element of the game, making the enemies look even more disturbing. Not to mention that the fixed camera angles prevent you from seeing what lurks around a corner. This retro-style modern survival horror game is one that can definitely go down in history with the classics. Would you like to see more games take on this old-school style? Comment below. This next game is one of the most slept-on gems for the Nintendo Switch. This is Foreclosed, a cyberpunk-style game that takes place in a future where everyone is born into debt and must have microchips implanted into their brains. Even though this sounds like the typical sci-fi title, the art style separates it from the rest with its bright neon palette, which gives the game both a futuristic and retro feel. The same could be said for the gameplay, as the player takes on a hybrid perspective, as some sections place you in situations which require a fixed camera angle and others that utilize the more modern, over-the-shoulder third-person shooter. In the middle of all this, you can upgrade abilities where you can overheat your enemies' microchips and create an invisible shield or enhance your ammo. All in all, Foreclosed is definitely a hidden gem I would not sleep on. When you think of an action-adventure platformer, games like Crash Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon, and Mario are the ones that are most likely to pop into your head. However, there is a hidden gem that I recently discovered that gives a fresh perspective to the genre, and it is called Pumpkin Jack. It was first released in 2020 for Windows, Nintendo Switch, and Xbox, then later in 2021 ported to PlayStation. In Pumpkin Jack, you actually take control of the anti-hero, which the game is titled after. Sent to Earth by the devil, who wants you to assassinate a wizard who is getting in the way of his plans for world domination. The plot of the story is wild, to say the least, and the character interactions you have along the way are hilarious. The gameplay is a mix of hack and slash combat and your typical run and jump platforming, along with some puzzle solving to mix things up. One of the most refreshing aspects of the gameplay is the crow companion that travels everywhere with you and is very helpful during combat. There is also a merchant who you insult every chance you can get and purchase different costumes from as well. Pumpkin Jack is definitely a game that knows how to balance the right amount of playfulness and somewhat adult humor to make it the amazing hidden gem that it is. Before we go over the last hidden gem on this list, I just want to say thank you to all of you still watching. Creating videos like this one to share with you is something I take pride in and enjoy very much. If you're enjoying the video and want to see more like this one in the future, feel free to drop a like and subscribe, as it will help me bring more videos like this one to you more often. Now, let's get back to our number 1 hidden gem. Game Pass is an awesome platform when it comes to the vast amount of choices for different genres of video games, and it is also one of my go-tos for hidden gems. The game that takes our number 1 spot today is Still Wakes the Deep, releasing in June of 2024 for PC, PS5, and Xbox. This is a psychological survival horror game that you will have to play with the lights on, as its atmosphere and environment will keep you on the edge of your seat. In this first-person horror game, the setting is an oil rig out in the middle of the sea that is under siege by its own inhabitants, who have turned into grotesque monsters and are still clinging onto whatever humanity they have left, which is something you notice through their unnerving voices. The main goal of the game is to escape the oil rig, which is falling apart all around you, creating an environment that is equally as dangerous as the creatures on board, as you have to climb, jump, and squeeze through areas that will trigger anyone who has vertigo or claustrophobia. If you're looking for a refreshing take on survival horror, you definitely have to play Still Wakes the Deep. Well guys, that's all for today's video. I would love to hear your thoughts on which one of these hidden gems you would love to play, and you know what? Comment below on any hidden gems you think I should play as well. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video.